Let's now start with a revision in macroeconomics, revision 1 from the national income and related aggregates. So let's first learn the definitions necessary. Macroeconomics. It is the study of the economic behavior of an economy as a whole. For example, the aggregate demand, aggregate supply, employment, general price level, etc. Then final goods. Final goods are those goods which are for final consumption used by the households or goods for investment by the firms. So final goods are consumed both by the households as well as the firms. Then intermediate goods, otherwise called single use producer goods. So these are the goods purchased by one firm from another, a firm purchasing from another firm for further production or for resale. So further production, we can say raw materials. Okay, resale can be this goods purchased by one firm and then selling them to the others, like for example mobile phones, by a retailer. So that is for resale. So then it will be called as an intermediate good. Then consumption goods. These are part of those final goods that are used for consumption purposes, or let us say satisfaction of wants. So consumption goods are used generally by the households because these are for final consumption. They are to satisfy the wants of the consumer. Then capital goods, otherwise called investment goods. These are those final goods which are used in further production of goods and services. Like for example, something is bought for a firm to produce goods. Okay, let's say a refrigerator is bought by a bakery or a car is bought by a taxi driver, something like this, then that is called a capital good. Let's now do a small exercise. Let's try to identify whether it is a consumption good or an investment good. Now final goods can be consumption goods or investment goods. So let's try to identify. Car purchased by a taxi operator. So he is using it to earn money. So this will be an investment good. TV, radio, washing machine that are used at home is a consumption good. Clothes for celebration at home. If you buy clothes for people at home, then that will be for consumption. Then tractor that is used by farmer. It is an investment good because he is using to produce the other goods. Then LPG or the gas that we use at home is for consumption purpose. Services of a doctor is a final good utilized by consumers, so it is a consumption good. Then sewing machine used by a tailor, he earns any money out of it, so that will be for investment purpose. Vegetables used by households will be for consumption. But if it is given by a hotel, then it will be an investment. Then refrigerator in a bakery is for investment purposes because he will use it to store some of the things or for sale. Then AC in a shop, this will be for an investment purpose. Okay. Moving ahead with a few more definitions. Stock. These are those economic variables which are measured at a given point of time. And flows are those economic variables which are measured over a period of time. Okay, at a given point of time, the clue is that as on a particular date. Over a period of time, you won't be having a date. Okay, so let's look again, perform one more exercise. So here we have a few variables. So let's see. Wealth is at a point of time, so it will be a stock variable. Capital is also calculated at a point of time, so it is a stock variable. Money supply in the economy is a stock variable. Bank deposits, you must have heard bank deposit as on a particular date. So that is a stock variable. Population of a country is calculated as on a particular date. So this is also a stock variable. Income, this is a flow variable because every month you get some income and this income can change. Expenditure is a flow variable because you don't calculate expenditure as on, you calculate expenditure over a period of time. Interest on capital is also calculated over a period of time. You must have heard interest for quarterly or annually. So it is over a period of time. Then capital formation is also over a period of time. What is the capital that is formed? Number of births and deaths. So during the year, how many births took place during the year. So it is also over a period of time. So this is also a flow variable. Now we know investment is made by the firms. So what is gross investment? Otherwise called gross capital formation is the addition to the stock of physical capital. This is called as gross investment. Already some stock is existing. To that, if we add some more, then that is called as the gross investment. This gross investment is addition to the stock of physical capital plus the change in inventory during an accounting year. That means during one period, 1 year, what is the addition to the stock plus the change in inventory. Then depreciation is consumption of the fixed capital, otherwise called annual replacement cost of fixed capital. What is depreciation? It is an allowance for normal wear and tear and foreseen obsolescence of wear and tear. That means we do anticipate that there is going to be some wear and tear, and so what is the part of the money that has to be kept aside? Investment that has to be kept aside. Then domestic territory. The geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital move freely. That is called the domestic territory. That means we know the map of India. Within India, that is the geographical territory. That is governed by the government and we are all free to move into any state, isn't it? Capitals can move, capital can move, goods also can move freely within the domestic territory. Okay, so let's now do another small exercise. Domestic territory of India. Okay, so domestic territory means we are talking about the geographical territory. So this we have to keep in mind. Branch of an American bank in India. It is in India. So it is the domestic territory of India. Okay, so let's put a tick. Office of Tata Industries in America. So this is the geographical area of America. So it is not the domestic territory of India. State Bank of India in UK. Where is the State Bank of India? It is in UK. So it is not the domestic territory of India. Google office in India. So this office is located in India. So it is the domestic territory of India. Russian embassy in India. This is an embassy. So it will not come under the domestic territory of India. Here we have to be very careful when we talk about the embassies. Indian embassy in Sri Lanka. Yes, it is the domestic territory of India. Aircrafts operated by Air India. Air India is Indian airline, so that means it belongs to India and so it can operate between any two countries. Even then it will come under the domestic territory of India. Fishing vessels operated by Indian fishermen in the international waters of Indian Ocean. So if it is within the international waters of Indian Ocean, then that will come under the domestic territory of India. Let's now understand who a resident is. A person or an institution whose center of economic interest lies in the domestic territory of the country in which he lives. That could be a person or an institution, whatever. The economic interest should lie in the domestic territory of the country in which he lives. Such a person will be called as a resident. So let's now again perform a small exercise to understand residents of India. So who are all the residents of India? Indians working in the office of UNO, that is United Nations Organization, in New York. Can he be called as a resident of India? Does he reside in India? No. He is working in New York, so not a resident of India. Indians working in the office of the United Nations Organization in India. Indians are working in India. So this is resident of India. Then Indians working in Indian Embassy in America. This is an Indian embassy. So he will not be a resident of India. Indians working in a branch of an American bank in India. This is an American bank in India, and who is working? Indians are working. So yes, he will be the resident of India. Then Americans working in Indian embassy in America. Though it is an Indian embassy, Americans are working. So this will not be, they will not be the residents of India. Indians going abroad for medical treatment or for tourism. See, they are going out abroad for a short period of time. That means either for medical treatment or for tour. So they are the residents of India, but they are going out only for a short period of time. Foreign tourists visiting India for conference. This is also for a short period of time. But who is visiting? Foreigners are visiting. So not residents of India. Then foreigners stay in India for 6 months. So if it is more than 1 year, only then you can call him a resident. But here he is staying only for 6 months, which is less than 1 year. So he will not be the resident of India. Let's now look at the circular flow of income in a two-sector economy. So what are the two sectors in an economy? Here we are talking about the firms, the production sector, and the households or the consumption sector. Okay. So these are the only two sectors in an economy. This is a closed economy because we do not have any intervention of the government or of the external world. So here the households are the owners of the factors of production. So they provide with factor services, for which the firms provide with factor payments. The firms produce goods and services for consumption purposes by the households, and the households in turn use the income or wages for consumption purposes. So they make the consumption expenditure. So this is the circular flow of income in a two-sector economy. This circle, the inner circle, where you see movement of goods and services and factor services by the households, is called the real flow. Now households are making consumption expenditure and firms are making factor payments. That means wages and salaries. So this will be called as nominal flow. So this is how we will represent the circular flow of income in a two-sector economy.